All right, let's get right into it. There's this hidden battle going on right now, all around us. And it's not about protecting your email or your social media. No, this is about defending the actual physical world we all rely on. Our power grids, our water systems, you name it. From a new kind of threat that could literally shatter the foundation of all modern security.
You know, we hardly ever think about it, but all those massive industrial systems that keep the lights on and the water clean, what the pros call operational technology, or OT, they're all run by an invisible layer of code. This digital trust, it's like an invisible shield that keeps our physical world running safely.
So here's the big question. What happens if that shield just shatters? What if a totally new kind of technology could forge a key that unlocks every single one of those digital protections, all at the same time? It would leave our most critical infrastructure completely wide open. And that's the scenario that has experts racing against the clock.
To really get the threat, we first have to understand the fortress it's targeting. So let's take a quick look at how we protect all these critical systems today.
See, pretty much our entire modern world runs on something called public key cryptography. The best way to think about it is like a set of incredibly complex digital locks. These algorithms, you might have heard of them, RSA and ECC. They secure everything from making sure a software update for a power plant is legit to ensuring only the right engineers can get into the network.
And for decades, these locks have been, well, basically unbreakable, even for the world's most powerful supercomputers. But that's all about to change.
The threat is from quantum computers. A powerful enough quantum computer running a specific process, it's called Shor's algorithm, could basically solve the complex math that makes our digital locks secure. And here's the really scary part. It wouldn't just pick one lock. It would essentially be a universal master key, capable of opening all of them at once.
And please, don't think this is some far-off sci-fi problem. The threat is active right now. Adversaries are very likely recording our encrypted data today, just stockpiling it, waiting for the day they get their hands on a quantum computer that can crack it all open. It's a terrifying strategy called harvest now, decrypt later.
So why is this such a uniquely massive problem for our physical infrastructure? I mean, why can't we just update the locks like we update the apps on our phones?
Well, because in the world of OT, a digital failure has very real, very physical consequences. If the encryption on a firmware update gets broken, an attacker could push a malicious update that causes an entire power grid to fail. If they break device authentication, they could pretend to be a trusted engineer and take remote control of a water treatment plant. The stakes are just unbelievably high.
And the challenges to upgrading are immense. We're not talking about your laptop. These systems are built to last for decades. They often have very limited computing power, and you can't just take them offline for a quick update. Some of these industrial plants only have a maintenance window maybe once or twice a year. On top of all that, a lot of companies don't even know all the places they're using this old crypto, and any tiny change can trigger a slow, expensive safety recertification process.
And this really gets to the absolute core of the problem. We are not talking about devices you replace every few years. This kind of equipment is built to run for 10, 20, sometimes even more years. That means a huge chunk of the infrastructure running right now will still be in service on the day a quantum computer is ready to break it.
So, okay, the problem is huge, it's complicated. But the good news is the people working on this are incredibly smart, and so are the solutions they're developing. Let's look at the actual strategy.
The path forward is really a methodical, three-step process. First, you have to know what you've got. That means a complete inventory of every single piece of cryptography in your system. Step 2, you build a strategy for a phased migration. You can't do it all at once. And then third, you start the very careful process of implementing new quantum-resistant solutions.
And here's one of the most brilliant parts of the plan. How do you upgrade without breaking everything that already exists? One of the best tools is something called a hybrid certificate. See, instead of ripping out the old trusted lock, you just add a new quantum-resistant one right alongside it. This way, older systems can still use the classic algorithm they trust, while the newer systems can use the post-quantum one. It lets you do a safe, gradual transition without a super risky flag day where you have to switch everything at the exact same moment.
All of these efforts, the inventories, the strategies, the new tech, it's all part of a massive global race against a deadline that experts have started calling Q-Day. This timeline really puts the urgency into perspective. The race is already on, because harvest now, decrypt later is very likely happening as we speak. By 2025, major standards bodies are going to start requiring these new quantum-safe options, and by the 2030s, a lot of experts believe a quantum computer that can break our current encryption
could be a reality. The clock is absolutely ticking.
And that brings us to the final, really critical question. We've built our entire modern world on infrastructure that was designed for stability to last for decades, not for rapid, sweeping digital change. The challenge we face right now is whether we can retrofit that world with the new generation of security before its old shield becomes totally useless. Can we win this race?